of a functionality where we would be connecting our SAP legacy, our SAP system, our standard S4 or whatever the ECC or whatever the SAP system to any third party system. So, what is the need to connect to a third party system? Let's take one example, right? So, this is my let's say this is my SAP system, central S4 system. Okay, this is my production system. No, this is my production system. There is another system which is a external system, right? External third party system. So what is the need for having an external third party system for the client? Because they are using this third party system as a shop floor system. So again, what is meant by a shop floor system? Shop floor system is a kind of execution system. Okay, execution system means the planning, all the planning will happen for the plant maintenance, not only for plant maintenance. For that purpose, you can also consider the functionality of production planning also, material management, whatever the module. Based on that particular module, the third party system will be connected, right? So let's take in the case of plant maintenance. So what generally we will be doing, we will be creating the maintenance notifications and the maintenance orders in the central S4 system. So after creating of the notifications or the orders, the requirement is those notifications and orders should reach the third party system. Okay. After once it reaches to the third party system, what happens is the confirmation, the execution of the maintenance orders. What is meant by execution of maintenance orders? Execution is nothing but the confirmation of the maintenance order, confirmation of order, right? Within the confirmation, we will have also the goods movement of any of its spares, right? So that will happen in the third party system. Okay. And what after performing the confirmation in the third party system, what will happen? That confirmation again will reach to SAP for that particular order. And while performing the confirmation, if there are any components are there in that particular maintenance order, even the components gets issued with movement type 261, right? So this happens in third party system, not in SAP. So you might get it out. Then what is the reason of performing that in the third party system? Because this third party system itself is called as a shop floor system. So it depends on the client. If the client says that there will be a central S4 system where the orders only will be creating, planning happens and orders will be creating in S4 system, and those orders should be triggered. Those orders should be triggered to the shop floor system, and there the execution of the order happens, and that data should be reached back to the central S4 system. So let's say this. Let us assume from the plant maintenance point of view, this is the requirement the client give. So what are all those we are going to assume here? One is sending off maintenance orders, right? Second, sending off maintenance notifications, right? Third, also sending off bill of material data. Okay, bill of material data. If there could be some clients which who also says that they might also send the data of maintenance plan as well, right? Some might also come up with requirement saying that also send the data for send the equipment master data. Probably they might ask they might ask to send all this, and each and every uh, the serial number will become each RISEF object. Okay, each and every serial number will become your each RISEF object, and you need to work on as a consultant. We need to work. We need to integrate our central SAP system to the third party system. Let us think. Let us think that there is one more uh, third party system, right? Let's put here. Okay, so this is the third party system, right? From this third party system, what happens is equipment master data will be sent to SAP from this system. Okay, means we are not going to create the equipment master data directly in SAP. So that comes from this third party system. And they might also say that even bill of material will be sent from this system to SAP. Generally, even in the real cases, no one will create a bomb directly in SAP. So that would be integrated with the third party system, and those details will be triggering to SAP. Okay. So how that triggers all these things we will discuss anyway. So nothing to worry. So this is how the let's say the setup is for a client. Okay. So let's say this is the master. I will say it as the master data system. Okay. And these are all the non-SAP systems. Remember, all these are all the non-SAP systems. Even only our central SAP is the SAP database, and even this is a non-SAP. So you no need to worry if it is a non-SAP system, then what is the database, what is that, how is the function, nothing to worry. As a functional consultant, our main aim is to integrate or establish a connection between these two systems. Okay. So this is how the architecture is now. So let me put some color. Okay. This should be, yeah, right. So now, whatever that we are sending to the third party system from SAP, right? So whatever we send from SAP to a third party system, we call it as a outbound. Okay. So whatever that goes out from SAP to the third party system, so we call it as outbound from SAP. Okay. So whatever that comes back to SAP, right? Whatever that comes back to SAP from that third party system, in general, we call it as what? Inbound to SAP. Okay, very very important. Uh, Even in the projects, right? So they'll simply call it as, yeah, it's the outbound one. So it's an inbound one, right? So we need to be clear. So when we are sending anything to a third party system, that is known as the outbound, and some information coming back to the SAP system, we call it as the inbound. So in our example, so what is the outbound in this case? So outbound are sending of maintenance orders, correct? Sending of maintenance orders is an outbound activity. Maintenance notifications is an outbound activity, correct? Next, bomb is an outbound here, right? So same way, if you see here, something is connected to SAP, right? Something is connected to SAP from which we are going to receive, let's say, the bill of material and equipment master data, right? So in this case, whatever the information that is coming to SAP, again here, this is an inbound, right? This is an inbound, and we are not going to send back anything to this third party system. So no need to uh, think or assume on the functionality that we are going to send back something to SAP on outbound. So there is no such functionality in this case. Only we are receiving, right? Only we are receiving the information. That's it. We are not sending any information back to the system. Okay. So let's come this here, right? In this example. So in this example, we have both outbound and we have also inbound. So first of all, we understood now, like anyway, in the outbound, we are going to send these three informations to third party. So as an inbound, what we are going to get confirmations, right? So how we can send the information to the third party system as the outbound. So that is the main area where we will come across the concept of IDOC. Okay. See, in interface, there are many ways to trigger or many ways to send the data to the third party system. So nowadays, previously we used to use IDOC. Nowadays, uh, there are few more functionalities which are replacing the IDOCs, but IDOCs remains as a classic standard one to send the data to the third party system. But still, we do have also now the XMLs or the flat files, right? Proxy way of triggering. So all these things we will anyway discuss and we will see in system as well. Okay. So now let's first discuss on the IDOC part. Okay, IDOCs. So what is an IDOC? The full form of IDOC is intermediate documents. Okay, intermediate documents, right? So what SAP thought is anyway they had provided some standard IDOCs already for us for the business or for the functional consultants or for the clients whoever, right? So from this package itself, SAP is been providing standard IDOCs. So how to understand this? What are all the IDOCs? How to make use of those IDOCs and all, right? So from the plant maintenance point of view, I told right. So this would be the common requirement wherever you go, whoever the client you work. When there is a rise of object, they will definitely ask to send these three information to any third party system. If he is a premium client and if he has his business across the world, definitely he'll have a third party system where we'll be sending this data. So even SAP has assumed that in much upfront and they had come up with some functionalities in order to send this. So what are all those? So for sending of maintenance orders, there is an IDOC already SAP has provided. So what is the IDOC message type? Every IDOC will be identified based on its message type. Okay. So for sending maintenance orders, the message type is I order. I will show you what is meant by I order, all these things. So the message type is I order, right? So for sending of maintenance notifications, so the message type SAP has already given for us is message type I notif. Okay, I notif. Same way for bomb, for bill of material, for bomb, message type is bomb mat. Okay, bomb mat. Very very important message types. Even in interviews, not only in interviews, if you go to the real time, definitely you will be working in the interfaces concepts. Okay, so that is the reason we need to aware of what is the message type, how to see the structure of the message type, all these things. Okay, so in our example, we are discussing on the standard message type which SAP has already provided for us to trigger this three of the data to the third party system. So how to trigger this, and also in order to trigger this kind of data to the third party system, there is also much more configuration that we need to do in order to trigger that particular data to the third party system. So that is the first main prerequisite that we need to do being a functional consultant, right? So even SAP has provided some codes to trigger this orders or notifications or the bomb. So what are all the T codes where you will trigger? The T code also, the name of the T code is itself is IOD. Okay, IOD is a T code through which you can able to trigger the maintenance orders. Having said that, the prerequisite configuration is necessary in order to trigger this. We will also see what are all the prerequisite configurations that we need to do. Okay. And for triggering of maintenance notifications, there is no standard T code. Okay. So you might get a doubt. If there is no T code, then how to trigger the notification? So that will be done with an enhancement. Okay. So what enhancement? Enhancement is as soon as notification is generated, right? As soon as notification is generated, it should trigger an IDOC. Okay. So that will happen with some minor development. Okay. Even we will also discuss what is the development, how to trigger, everything we will discuss. But there is no standard T code in order to trigger for maintenance notifications. For bill of material, there is a standard T code BD30. Okay. So from BD30 transaction, we can trigger the bill of material data to the third party system. Okay. So, right. So first we will see the how to trigger the maintenance orders. And I told right for any data to trigger to the third party system, which is an outbound, you need to do some configuration. You need to do some setup. So all this setup we will discuss in the today's class, and also we will see the demo of triggering all these three if time permits. If not, we will see two, and you can cover the bomb part and rest of this part in another class. Okay. So first, so prerequisite setup to be made. Very very important setup, right? Prerequisite setup to be made to trigger an outbound IDOC. Okay, right. So what is the setup we need to do? First step is define a logical system. Okay. First step is define a logical system. In the real time basis team will define this logical system. I'll also write who is the concerned team who must do this setup and all, so that you'll have that idea. Even if you go to the real project, you can ask coordinate with that particular team members. So define logical system basis activity. Second step is define port connections. Okay, define port connections. This will be done by the ABAP team, right? Next, define RFC destinations. This will be done by basis team, right? Nowhere we will be involved, but knowing all these things will be a added benefit for us. Okay. So fourth step, after defining all these things, in the fourth step we need to define partner profiles. Okay. Who will does this? Who will create this partner profiles? Either basis, or in some cases functional consultants also may do that. Okay. Functional consultants also. Partner profiles. Next, fifth step. Define distribution model setup. This will be done by functional, or in some projects this will be taken care by the ABAP team, right? Next, sixth step. adding of message type in partner profile, right? So this will be again, as I said, ABAP, or in some cases, in some projects, functional consultants. We must be coordinating with those team members. Okay. Yeah. So these are all the prerequisite steps that we must and should do anywhere, any system you take, any latest HANA system you take, or any world ECC system you take. So these are all the standard prerequisite configurations, I would say. So which you must and should do in order to trigger any of the IDOC. Okay. Not only for the maintenance orders, for that matter, any of the IDOC. So we will see this. So I'll also write the T codes anyway here, right? So the T codes are, the T code for this is SALE, sale. Okay, the T code itself is SALE. Next, define port connections. T code is WE21. Define RFC destinations. T code is SM59. Define partner profiles. T code is WE20. Okay. Define distribution model setup. T code is BD64. And this one is again WE20. Okay. So these are all the T codes where we will be, I mean, we in the sense, whoever in the project, right? So must and should do in order to